It started as a whisper inside palace walls, the kind of hushed murmur that spreads like wildfire in royal corridors. But within days, that whisper became a command. King Charles, known for his calm diplomacy and often avoiding scandal at all costs, has reportedly made a dramatic and unprecedented move. He has ordered a formal investigation into Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's post-royal conduct. The decision didn't come lightly. According to insiders, the king has grown increasingly concerned about the pattern of behavior from the Sussexes, especially the continuous stream of interviews, memoirs, documentaries, and accusations aimed directly or indirectly at the royal institution. What was once written off as a family rift is now being treated as a matter of national reputation. And this time, the crown isn't staying silent. This isn't just about what was said on Oprah or what made headlines in a Netflix special. It's about something deeper: possible breaches of confidentiality, misrepresentation of private conversations, and the weaponization of royal secrets for personal gain. For King Charles, who has spent decades preparing to lead with stability and vision, the growing chaos threatens to undermine not just his reign, but the very integrity of the monarchy itself. But what pushed the king to act now? Palace insiders hint that it was a mix of public backlash, mounting pressure from senior royal advisors, and fears of more damaging revelations to come. For the first time, the monarchy is treating Meghan and Harry's actions not just as a personal feud, but as a potential threat to national trust in the institution. And this is only the beginning. For months, the royal family tried to play it safe, issuing polite no comments, offering olive branches behind closed doors, and hoping the media storm would pass. But things took a sharp turn after a string of bombshell claims by Meghan and Harry began gaining traction, not just in tabloids, but in political discussions and public forums across the UK and beyond. At the heart of the growing crisis is what insiders are calling a pattern of provocation. From Meghan's claims of racism within the palace walls to Harry's emotional revelations about his mental health struggles and his father's alleged neglect, the couple's statements have painted the monarchy as outdated, emotionally distant, and even oppressive. But the final straw may have come with the release of Harry's memoir, Spare, which included shocking personal stories and alleged private conversations with his brother, Prince William, and King Charles himself. The book, filled with graphic details and emotional accusations, wasn't just cathartic. It was explosive. And while it sold millions of copies, the fallout inside Buckingham Palace was swift and severe. High-ranking aides began sounding the alarm. According to leaked reports, there were growing fears that some of the claims were either exaggerated or completely fabricated, potentially crossing legal boundaries and violating confidentiality agreements signed during their royal tenure. Senior officials began urging the king to act before more damaging information could be weaponized. It became clear that the couple was no longer just telling their side of the story. They were constructing a brand, monetizing royal drama, and building a global platform that thrived on tearing down the institution they once vowed to serve. For King Charles, a man who has endured scandal his entire adult life, this wasn't just about family anymore. It was about leadership, about legacy, and about the future of the crown. As whispers of the investigation leaked into the media, Meghan and Harry didn't stay quiet for long. Though there hasn't been an official statement from their team, their response has been loud in other ways: strategic appearances, cryptic interviews, and carefully curated social media moments designed to frame themselves as victims of royal retaliation. Just days after news of the investigation broke, Meghan appeared at a public event in California, all smiles, dressed impeccably, and flanked by media outlets that emphasized her grace under pressure. Meanwhile, Harry was spotted in a separate interview discussing the importance of speaking one's truth and how silence only benefits abusers. To many observers, it was no coincidence. These were subtle shots fired, crafted for headlines, not reconciliation. Sources close to the Sussexes claim they were blindsided by the investigation, viewing it as an attempt to silence dissent and discredit their narrative. But others argue this may have been exactly what they were hoping for: a chance to reignite sympathy and paint the monarchy as a cold, outdated institution desperate to maintain control. What's most striking is how savvy the couple has become in playing the PR game. They're not reacting emotionally, they're reacting strategically. Every quote, every photo, every partnership with Netflix or Spotify is part of a broader effort to build an empire rooted in truth-telling, personal growth, and just enough royal drama to keep the world watching. Behind the scenes, however, palace insiders warn that this battle of perception could have devastating long-term consequences. The more they push this victim narrative, one source said, the harder it becomes to put the genie back in the bottle. Public trust in the monarchy is already fragile. The investigation was meant to bring clarity. Instead, it sparked a media firestorm that neither side fully controls. While King Charles leads the official investigation, another figure watches quietly from the sidelines. But his silence speaks volumes. Prince William. Long seen as the future of the monarchy and a stabilizing force within the family, William has reportedly reached his breaking point with his younger brother. Behind closed doors, sources say William has been one of the strongest advocates for holding Meghan and Harry accountable. Although he hasn't made public comments, palace insiders claim he views their repeated media attacks not just as betrayals of the crown, but personal betrayals of trust. Especially painful were the excerpts in Spare, where Harry detailed private confrontations between the two, accusing William of aggression, jealousy, and even physical altercations. To many royal watchers, William's restraint is strategic. As heir to the throne, he cannot afford to appear emotional or petty, but those closest to him suggest the rage is real and growing. One former aide said, "He's tired of being the quiet one." Every time Harry speaks, it's William who takes the hit without ever defending himself publicly. That's a level of discipline most people can't even comprehend. Some reports even suggest that William supported the investigation behind the scenes, encouraging the king to draw a line and protect the institution for future generations. He sees the monarchy not just as tradition, but as his responsibility. And allowing it to be damaged by unchecked narratives, even from family, is a risk he won't tolerate. And while Charles may still hold hope for reconciliation, William's position seems far less forgiving. This isn't about brothers anymore. One royal correspondent noted, it's about duty. And for William, duty comes first, even if it means severing ties for good. With every headline, the divide between the brothers grows deeper, and the prospect of any future reconciliation begins to fade into myth. As the royal drama plays out in headlines, documentaries, and now a full-blown investigation, one thing has become undeniably clear. The public is deeply divided. And the tension isn't just within the palace. It's across dinner tables, social media threads, and newsrooms around the world. For some, Meghan and Harry are modern-day whistleblowers, two individuals brave enough to challenge an outdated, elitist institution. These supporters argue that the couple is shedding light on issues the monarchy has long ignored, like mental health, racial bias, and toxic tradition. They see the investigation not as justice, but as retaliation. A desperate attempt by the palace to preserve its image at the expense of truth. But for others, this has gone too far. A growing faction of royalists, media commentators, and even once neutral observers believe that Meghan and Harry have crossed the line from truth-telling to opportunism. The constant stream of public complaints, thinly veiled attacks, and monetized trauma is wearing thin. To them, it's not bravery. It's betrayal, dressed up in designer empathy. And then there's the silent majority, exhausted by it all. After years of scandal, interviews, and palace intrigue, many people simply want peace. Or at the very least, a break from the headlines. They're tired of choosing sides, tired of the drama, and increasingly skeptical of everyone involved. Polls reportedly show that public trust in the monarchy has dipped in recent months, especially among younger generations. At the same time, interest in the Sussexes' media ventures has shown signs of fatigue, with ratings dipping and partnerships quietly dissolving behind the scenes. In short, nobody is winning. The palace looks defensive. Meghan and Harry look relentless. And the people? Many are just over it. But that doesn't mean the story is over. Because as long as the drama continues to generate clicks, divide opinions, and shape the public's view of royalty, the show must go on. While the current investigation remains internal, the legal implications are becoming harder to ignore. Behind the polished statements and staged appearances, both the palace and the Sussexes may be quietly lawyering up. For good reason. If Meghan and Harry are found to have breached confidentiality agreements or defamed royal figures in a way that can be legally proven, the Crown could, in theory, pursue legal action. It would be an unprecedented move, one that could shatter any remaining hopes for reconciliation and turn a royal family feud into a courtroom showdown. But insiders say it's on the table, especially if more damaging content is released. On the flip side, the Sussexes may also be preparing for legal retaliation of their own. Their legal team has previously pushed back hard on tabloid stories, misinformation, and invasion of privacy. If they feel that the palace's investigation leads to slander, surveillance, or leaks intended to damage their brand, they could strike back with lawsuits or public countersuits. And considering their ties to major U.S. media outlets and powerful attorneys, they wouldn't be entering the fight alone. One former royal legal advisor described the atmosphere as a Cold War turning hot, where both sides are collecting receipts, watching every word, and preparing for battle under a thin veil of diplomacy. There's also the issue of jurisdiction. With Meghan and Harry living in the U.S. and the royal family operating under UK law, any legal action would be messy, global, and highly publicized. The British press would feast on it. American media would spin it. And the monarchy, an institution built on quiet power, would be dragged into the chaos of international litigation. For now, both sides are holding their fire. But make no mistake, the legal fuse is burning. And if it's lit, this royal crisis could go from dramatic to downright historic. As the dust begins to settle, at least for now, one thing is certain: the monarchy will never be the same again. The investigation into Meghan and Harry isn't just about who said what, or who's to blame. It's a symptom of something much larger: a generational rift, a collapsing sense of control, and the growing demand for transparency from an institution that was never built for the spotlight. What happens next will depend on more than the outcome of the investigation. It will hinge on how King Charles leads in the face of disruption, how Prince William defines his legacy under pressure, and how Meghan and Harry continue to navigate their public image while dancing the fine line between empowerment and exploitation. The royal family stands at a crossroads. Do they pull tighter into tradition, reinforcing the old rules and hoping the public eventually forgets? Or do they evolve, risking vulnerability in order to regain trust in a digital age where privacy no longer exists? As for Meghan and Harry, their future is equally uncertain. If they continue down the path of public revelations and media exposure, they may burn every remaining bridge to their royal past. But if they pivot toward healing, diplomacy, and genuine reform, they might just redefine what it means to be royal in the modern era. One thing's for sure: the world is watching. Not just for the next headline, but for the next move. Because this isn't just a family feud anymore. It's a crisis of identity. For the monarchy, for the royals involved, and for the people who once believed in the fairy tale. And once the veil of mystery is lifted, there's no going back.